Current BRICS chair India making the pitch for the group to speak for countries in the global south. New Delhi hosting national security advisors and senior officials for a two-day meet. Ajit Doval says they are meeting in, quote, tumultuous times, although he did welcome last week's signing of a memorandum of understanding laying initial steps for the US and Iran to reach a more long-term peace. The Indian National Security Advisor also hailing the restart of traffic through the Strait of Hormuz, which he says would ease disruptions in supply chains and strengthen energy security. But Ajit Doval says BRICS needs to define what it can do in the current world.
We have got a very special role to play in this world which appears to be in a turmoil, a world which appears to be changing, a world in which the instruments of conflict resolutions are probably getting blunted. What role we as a grouping can play is a matter that is important for us to ponder.
The BRICS meeting affording Delhi a chance to build on improving ties with Beijing. Ajit Doval holding talks on the sidelines with China's foreign minister, described by both as constructive and helping to cement progress in their relations. A deadly border clash in 2020 putting a big strain on ties between the two neighbours. But they have since warmed, with Chinese President Xi Jinping expected to attend the BRICS Leaders Summit in India in September. Neha Poonia tracking these developments for us for CNA, and she joins us live from New Delhi. Neha, of course, a BRICS meeting, a good chance for Delhi to address its own bilateral concerns, such as those with Beijing, but also larger concerns for BRICS, what BRICS can do as a grouping.
Absolutely. And of course, Vesu, this is taking place at a time when we've seen internal divisions within the bloc with both Iran and the UAE on opposing sides of that Iran conflict. And India has tried to walk that tightrope to try and bridge those divides, but also try and keep the focus on building consensus on issues where there will be, a common viewpoint. You had Ajit Doval stressing that point where he said this is a significant bloc because this is a group of peace-loving countries who believe in a multipolar world. This is a bloc that represents just under half of the world's population and under 40% of the global economy. So it's important that there is consensus and a forward-looking vision as far as this bloc is concerned. The main theme was discussing non-traditional security threats, particularly with the advent of artificial intelligence. And Ajit Doval stressed that oftentimes the tools at the disposal of many governments are not developing as rapidly as emerging tech is, which is why consensus is important. And BRICS national security advisors and senior security chiefs have agreed to share more information in real time and work together to combat these challenges. But as you can imagine, traditional military conflicts were also very much top of the agenda, including the Iran war. You had Ajit Doval welcome that temporary truce between Iran and the US, saying there's cautious optimism that this will stick and that this will have a huge impact on energy supplies to countries of the global south, will also help ease bottlenecks as far as supply chains are concerned. But you did have criticism from members like Iran and Russia. You had Russia's top security chief, Sergei Shoigu, saying that West's desire to maintain a dominant position is causing unprecedented global insecurity. Iran saying that UAE was complicit with the US on attacks carried out on Tehran, and that it's hoping that the UAE will choose the path of regional cooperation. We don't know what the UAE said, but in the past they have rejected Iran's claims at last month's BRICS foreign ministers meeting.
All right, Neha, Ajit Doval also welcoming the chance to further secure better ties with China.
That's right. I mean, this is the first time the two border representatives on the India-China border issue are meeting since last year. Wang Yi couldn't be in New Delhi for last month's BRICS foreign ministers meeting because Donald Trump was visiting Beijing then. So this engagement, experts say, is an important one because it signals that there is continued intent to try and ease ties since President Xi and Prime Minister Narendra Modi met last year and set the ball rolling for normalization of bilateral ties following that border clash in 2020, after which we saw a significant deterioration in bilateral relations. But this is also important, experts say, from a point of view of laying the groundwork ahead of President Xi's expected visit to New Delhi in September for the BRICS Leaders Summit. So it's about signaling political intent that they are still very much on the same page. Both sides have called the meeting constructive. They've said that they need to work together, not as rivals, but as partners. India said there's a need to build trust, but some issues remain. China said in the past that various government-to-government dialogue mechanisms remain stalled. So it'll be important to see what happens after this and how those measures are revived to ensure that this engagement continues at other levels as well.
Thanks. Neha Poonia there reporting for CNA from New Delhi.